How's everybody doing? So my name is Kathy Dew. I am a senior product manager on the SharePoint team, and I've been working on Brand Center. And so we're going to talk today about branding your SharePoint sites, Clipchamp videos, stream videos, Teams meetings, and more. You know, just keep going. See how many things we can brand, right? So what all are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about SharePoint sites and Viva connections. We're going to talk about customizing Teams meeting experiences. We're going to talk about Stream, Clipchamp, and all your video content, and then how you can use that organization brand across M365. So we're going to start out with SharePoint and Viva Connections, our favorite products, my favorite products, I guess I'll say. So when we look at branding in SharePoint, there are many different core elements of branding in SharePoint. These really come down to things like our logo and navigation, how people understand how to use our sites through those, theming, the color schemes, what does it look like, the new addition of custom fonts, which we're going to talk a lot about, and then also your content, your imagery, your text, the content that you put within your sites. So let's first talk about the logos and navigation. So there are three core tiers in SharePoint. So the first that you have is your home site logo or your global navigation. This goes into the SharePoint app bar down the left-hand side of every modern site. You can customize that logo so that it matches your home site, your tenant, whatever you're trying to express there with your organization. So it does cover that, and you can update that. And then the second tier of this is if you have a hub site. And so that's the hub logo and the hub navigation, so being able to customize that next level. Hubs are a great way to associate content together. So we've gotten away from that concept of sites and subsites and moved to a hub model where you have kind of one centralized kind of root of it, and then all of the other sites are associated out. So really that kind of hub and spoke model of how you associate sites together, giving you all of that great ability to search across the sites associated together, to roll up content through them, to do great things when it comes for that. So you've got a hub logo and a hub navigation that follows across every site that's associated to the hub. And then that third level down is kind of that local one. So that is the site logo and the site navigation. So that is how are people going to interact with that content within that site itself. So you've got all three levels there, whether it's global, hub, or site, that you can use branding for. You can justify those. And we like to give people a tip of use different logos for each of these because it really kind of helps to differentiate across. Then we have themes in both SharePoint and Viva Connections today. We've recently introduced the concept of theming into Viva Connections at the end of last year. So now that you're able to apply those same themes that you're familiar with in SharePoint in your Viva Connections experiences as well. So being able to customize the look and feel of Viva Connections as well as SharePoint, and really kind of pulling those across the two. And in Viva Connections, it's utilizing the same familiar change the look experience that you're used to in your SharePoint sites. Who wants to talk about the all-new SharePoint Brand Center? Anybody? So the new SharePoint Brand Center is a brand new set of features that we have just begun rolling out to customers. The first feature in the SharePoint Brand Center is custom fonts. So I do want to highlight a few things. You may go back and say, I don't see the Brand Center yet. Well, it does require setup in the M365 Admin Center by the global admin because it does require the use of public CDN. So I want to make sure I call that out. People are like, I don't have it, but they don't realize there is a setup step to make it available. It's a one-time, simple, easy configuration to make this available. And then there are a few limits when it comes to custom fonts. We are limiting down to font types that you're able to use. So we do have that true type font, open type, and then two versions of the web open format, the WAF compression, regular and WAF 2. We do encourage you to use the WAF compressed files, but we do support all of them. And we do have a file size limit on what you can use from a font perspective. And then when we talk about the Brand Center, it's really important to understand who has it, who does what. So I talked about getting that one-time setup by the global admin, but then once that's done, who has access to it, how do people use the Brand Center, and what comes from the Brand Center? So the Brand Center creates a site, and in that site is an app. So if you want to manage your organization assets, you need to be an owner of that site. So a site owner of that site gives you access to the Brand Center. The assets that are created in the Brand Center. So when we talk about custom fonts and how those show up in SharePoint in the Change the Look, that is the site owner of that app, that site, who gets to create those. And then they become available in Change the Look for your site owners to utilize. And then going down from there, after it's been applied to the site, authors and creators can then utilize those to update how their content looks. So a kind of a real simple hierarchy of global admin does that initial setup, then the site owners of the Brand Center site have access to manage your brand assets in the Brand Center app. Site owners can apply what the brand managers through that site owner Brand Center app can use. And then the authors and creators get to utilize what's applied to the site. So the new SharePoint Brand Center is an app within that site. That site you can name whatever you want, and I'm actually going to demo a little bit of that experience so you can see what it looks like. But in the Brand Center today, we are starting with custom fonts. When I say starting with, you'll continue to see what I mean. But custom fonts is where we will have that in the Brand Center app today, and we are looking this as 2 levels. So you see kind of 2 levels in the app experience. The top level is how you manage those assets across your organization that you might want to make available across multiple applications. Fonts are not limited to SharePoint. You might want fonts for your Office programs. You might want them for Teams in the future, who knows? You might want them in Clipchamp, you might want them in Stream. So you have that place where you can go manage those. Just like organization assets for images today, you've got one central location to make them available in multiple places. And then down below that in the Apply Your Brand section, this is how those get applied to the specific products. So how SharePoint and Viva Connections uses a font is going to be different than how Word or PowerPoint uses a font. How SharePoint and Viva Connections might use color might be different than how other applications use color. So you'll manage those product-specific experiences in the product area. Do you want to see it? We're going to jump right in. So the first thing I'm going to show you is that initial global admin setup step. So in this, when I come to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, I will need to go down to Settings and then to Org Settings. And once I come into Settings and Org Settings, you'll see that Brand Center preview right here. Now we are releasing this Brand Center as you see it today in a public preview, and I'll talk a little bit more about why it's coming out in a public preview as we go through this demo. But it is going out into a public preview, so you'll see it tagged as preview. So you can go in and click that setting. And then once you do that, it's going to walk you through this particular setup configuration. So it's going to ask you to agree to some few things like public CDN usage, and it's going to create a site for you if you do not have a site today that has organization assets. If you already have a site with image libraries for organization assets or organization templates, it's going to use that same site and just add the Brand Center app for you. But you can always come back here as an admin to this settings screen to find the links to both the site and the app. Okay, so real simple, just kind of a one step, but it's right there in the M365 Admin Center. So next, we're going to jump on over. So here, this is one where I've got a few more things set up. But what does that look like? So if I copy that link and then I go to my site. So in this case, I had previous organization asset libraries set up. So I've got my Rela Cloud Assets site. The great thing about this is we let you name the site if you're creating your own, whatever you want it to be, but the Brand Center app will always remain named Brand Center app. So once I come to this site, how do I find the Brand Center app? If I am a site owner, when I go to my settings gear here, I'm going to have a link to that Brand Center app right from the settings gear. So I can easily come in and just go straight into the Brand Center. So I can still stay in my site to manage my images and my templates and those library experiences like we're used to today. But when I jump right into the Brand Center app through that, it does take me into this app where I can manage these assets moving forward for fonts today and more to come. So let's take a look at this. When I come in and I want to look at my fonts, you upload your fonts just like you would upload any type of file into a document library. So we're going to go through and we're going to upload a fun little font here. So I've got to go to where it is. So I have some of them on my desktop. Let's maybe, not the most favorite of font, but everyone loves it. It's a good crowd favorite of Comic Sans, you know. So let's upload that one and see what happens. So once we upload those fonts here into the experience, it's going to go through in the back end and do a little bit of processing. So there is a little bit of a slight delay in when it's available here and when it's available into my next experience. But this is what you do. You come in, you add them, and then you can manage your fonts from here. So say I have this font here called Oregano, and I no longer want people to be able to do anything with Oregano. So I can simply come in and edit that, and you'll see a column here in this library called Visible. Visible is here to identify whether or not I want this font to appear in my picker experiences. So I can simply come in and say, no, I don't want this to be visible anymore. And it's going to save that property out, and I'm going to be able to have that available or not available as I decide. So say your company updates your organization font in the future, and it's a new one. You simply come in here and make the old fonts not visible, and they won't show up in picker experiences for people to use anymore. So from here, we've now added our font, right? We've made it available. So we're going to go create what we're calling a font package. So font packages are the ways that your fonts show up in SharePoint. How do we configure them? So I've got a couple in here today, but let's go ahead and create a net new font package. And I'm going to have you help me as I go through this. So we create font packages, and we can use up to 2 different font families as part of our font package. We target you through creating this, giving you some guidance with a display font. So think of these, you may have like a much more decorative font, a script font, something that's more of an impact for your brand versus the content font, the one that you want the majority of your content to be in. So you have the ability to pick from those. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to look at my list of fonts that I've uploaded into that brand font library and pick which one I want to be my display font. You can use the same font family in each of these pickers if you only want a single one. But here you'll also notice, remember I made that Oregano font not visible, so it does not show up in this picker experience. So I'm not able to pick that one anymore to create a new font package. So if I come in, does anyone want to see one of these fonts? Like which one should I make the display font? Comic Sans? Okay, then what about my content font? I don't have, it's that list. I don't have Papyrus. Kermit, I heard Kermit. I heard serif hand. Why don't I look and see which one we want? So this, you can see the preview here. So that is what Kermit looks like. I also heard serif hand, so let me apply that one and see what that one looks like. Does anybody one over the other? Kermit. So we can see a little bit through our preview experience what these fonts look like as I'm going through and picking. So now I've picked my 2 font families that I'm going to utilize to move forward. So let's go to step number 2. So in step 2, now I go through and start to get a little bit more granular about what font might apply to where within the product experience. So here we have 4 slots. We have title, headline, body, and interactive. There's a bit of guidance here to help you understand as well what you might want to use or how you might want to use these. So title guides me that I might consider using my display font. So I am going to go ahead and pick Comic Sans. And as you notice, I had two, I only selected two, so now only those two are available here. So I can pick that Comic Sans. And then if you remember, I uploaded 3 different files for Comic Sans. So that's 3 different font styles. So I have all 3 of those font styles to pick from. So I could pick regular, bold, or bold italic. I am going to go ahead and pick bold for this one, just because I want to make sure that it's an impact statement. And then we can come down to headline. And so in the guidance here, headline guides me to consider using my content font in a semi-bold or a bold style. So with that one, our content font is Kermit. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And with Kermit, I have quite a few styles that I could pick from. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to go ahead and pick semi-bold for this one. And then for body, this one tells me to consider my content font in a normal or regular style. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that, and I'm going to do Kermit, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick regular. And then interactive, this one is used for action items, things like buttons and such. So it tells me to consider that content font with a bold or a semi-bold style. So I am going to go ahead and pick Kermit here, and then I'm going to pick the semi-bold. So now we've kind of mapped out how we want our font package to work. And you'll notice here over in this preview, it's now told me which ones I'm doing. So my display font is Comic Sans, and I have made that the title. And my content font is Kermit, and I have made that my headline, my body, and my interactive stylings, right? So let's go ahead to step 3. In step 3, we give our font package a name. Bubbles. I like it. And then we have that setting again for visible. So maybe I've created this, but I don't want to make it available for people to use and change the look quite yet. Or in the future, if I've got one and I want to not make it available and change the look anymore, I can always come back and edit it to make it not visible. We're going to go ahead and leave it visible. And then we have given you a great cue about accessibility here. We do hope that we'll be able to improve this in the future, maybe give you some automatic guidance here to check. But right now, we're giving you some great guidance and a Learn More link to take you to some tools that you can use to work more with this. But part of our guidance and how we're working you through is helping you with making your font package accessible. So I'm going to save it. And then once I go ahead and save my font package, it's going to go ahead and add Bubbles, our new font package, here to our font package library of all of the different font packages that we've made available within our organization. Yes? Oh, you're right, I did not. I'm gonna quick go through and do this again, because I did forget to show you that. So let me just quick run through. You'll notice those are, he asked, the question was, there's a tab for SharePoint and Viva connections, and I did, in my quick talking, forget to show you that. So I'm going to just go through real quick and remap this so that I can show that to you, because that is a great catch that I forgot to tell you that. I can. It's a little bit easier for me to just quickly run through here to get it to work through. Edit is a slightly different experience, so I want to show you both of them. Okay, go semi-bold there. Okay, so here, once I've created that, you notice that they were disabled as I was picking, but then once I come here, and I'm going to apologize, I'm actually using Wi-Fi on my phone, so give it a second, because it might be a little bit not as fast as it should be. If I click onto this, it is going to go ahead and show me that site that I'm on, that Brand Center site that I set up, and it's going to preview this font package right there on that site, so I can see what it's going to look like. So you can see here that Comic Sans and the Kermit being applied to the different elements of that site, and you'll also notice a few things like following and site access that will remain in Sego. We've made some really distinct decisions here, and I'll go through some of those as well. And then also, because our font packages can also apply to our Viva Connections experiences, if I come over and put this on my Viva Connections, it goes through and applies this. Now, I did notice a bug in my early dog food tenant here that takes a little bit of a delay to get that, and has had a few update refreshes. There's a bug happening that the team is actively working on here, but it will preview it, I promise. And so they're working through something that's only in our dog food. It still works for you. So this is just a quick little thing there. So if I go back then to my font packages, so that listing that I have, So here are all of those. Now, you asked about, could I do it in the edit experience? So yes, if I come through and pick this is why I said I wanted to show it to you in both. So this one, in the edit experience, the way I can customize and what I can do is slightly different because it does pull it all back together. So I can rename it, and I can pick different font stylings, and I can also preview from within here as well. So as part of that, navigating from that card into this kind of detail view of the font package, I can still see information, and I can still update and edit from here. So there's a lot of flexibility here, but creating new and editing existing to say I did not want bubbles to be visible, I could make it not visible here, and it would not show up in my change the look experiences. So, but I'm going to leave it because we want to see how this actually looks. We created this great font package. So we have several different font packages here, and what does this mean? You've shown me how this all gets created. How does anyone other than the site owner of the Brand Center site get access to these? So once I go to my sites, and I come out to them, and I want to change the look of my site, I do just like normal, and I come over to change the look. And then once I go into change the look, you'll see a font tab has now been added in addition to theme, header, navigation, footer. And so I can come into this font tab, and what you'll notice is it's going to, for the majority of sites that you have, because you haven't customized them yet, it's going to tell you that it's the Microsoft default. And then when I come here and I expand it out, you're going to see a few things. Now, you're not going to see bubbles yet, because there is a little bit of a delay in getting it created in the Brand Center app to showing up here, but it's going to be here before I finish this demo. But what you'll see here is there's a set of from Microsoft font packages. So we have provided you, maybe your organization doesn't have a font, your own font, and so you want to play with it, just like we provide you from Microsoft themes, from Microsoft templates. We've provided you with a set of 8 from Microsoft font packages that you can play with. So you can go in and apply these. I personally, this Wallbum Trade Gothic Next is one of my favorite because it really shows the difference in the fonts on the site. So you can play with them, you can apply them through here. You'll see it lets it preview live as I switch from font package to font package. I could go over to Aptos, which is the new Office default font. I could switch over to Georgia Pro Condensed and Verdana Pro Condensed, and you can see it changing as I go through and apply those packages. And then just like on themes and everything here in Change the Look, you do have to hit save before it actually applies and changes your site. So you are seeing the live preview happen here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save on this from Microsoft one, and we're going to take a look at it on the site, and then we're going to go try and apply a different one so you can see what that looks like as well. So you can see here those different things that we mapped out or in the font package when we created it also have applied here. So why did we make the decision to not release this as a full release and release it as a preview? We have not completed making custom fonts supported in every web part yet. It is a process, and we are committed to completing them. We're actually working on this like every quarter. You should see a set of new web parts get additional support. And after we hit a time frame where we feel comfortable that we've hit the majority of them, we'll remove the preview tag. But for now, it is in preview simply because we do not support every web part yet. So you can see as an example here, this events web part that you see on the screen, the only thing that is customized in this one is the web part title. We have gone ahead and customized that so that it's consistent if I change it, and I don't have those. But the content within that events web part yet is not currently taking on the custom fonts, and it will in the future. So you can see a little bit of that kind of not where custom fonts aren't applying here. But I also want to point out a few other areas. You'll notice things like following, site access, the menu structures, see all links. Those are not also taking the custom font. That will not take the custom font in the future. We have made a decision that the items that are core to the usage of the product will remain Microsoft fonts. So it will remain Sego or different Microsoft provided fonts for that, and it will not change to the custom fonts. Why did anyone in the past customize SharePoint to change the font in one of those SharePoint 2010, 2013? Did you ever play around with using like webdings or wingdings and it changed literally everything on the screen, and then you had to go try to figure out what thing in the menu item to go reset it, right? So we don't want people to not be able to author content, to edit their content, to update and manage their site. So those things that are core to the usage of the product, that are those menus and commanding structures, will remain default fonts. Everything else we're working towards making customizable, and you can see that here with site titles, hub titles, text and image overlay, the text web part. So let's go through and apply a different font package. So now I'm going to come back over here. And now when I come in, look, I told you there was a little bit of a delay. It just takes a few minutes to get it over here. But Bubbles is here now. So let's go ahead and apply Bubbles. And let's see what that font package that we created and we customized those different font slot mappings does. Right? So I can apply those, and you notice just like with themes, when you install a custom theme via PowerShell, it shows up under a From My Organization heading. The Microsofts show up underneath the From Microsoft heading. So now we've applied Bubbles to our site. We can see that great mixture of Kermit and Comic Sans across all of our content. And you can really start to see the content coming to life with that custom font. Now, when we come in and we edit, I do want to highlight a couple of things here. So when we come in and edit things like the text web part, I can actually come in and say, I want to make this heading 3. And it highlights and makes that text heading 3. It does have those preset items, and it will use those custom fonts in each of those text editor web part options there. So in the drop downs, these are all changeable based off your settings. So if I say pick 4, it changes. If I pick 2, it changes. So it adapts to what we've picked from our font mappings to use this here. So it is using the custom fonts here in our text web part. So it's fantastic to really see that content coming to life. So with this, I'm just going to save and close that, go back to this. So we talked a little bit about these working across SharePoint and Viva. So let's see what that means. So if I come in here to Viva Connections, and I want to apply my custom font here, what does that actually mean? So when I come in as that owner-operator of Viva Connections, I now have changed the look as a part of that Viva Connections management experience. And when I go in to change the look in Viva Connections, I have 2 key things: theme and font preview. So I can go in and customize my fonts and my themes. So we're going to go into font, and we're going to do this. And you'll notice a little information bubble, a little note pops up at the top. When you're updating your Viva Connections experiences, it also updates the home site associated to Viva Connections. So they are connected, right? We have our home sites and our Viva Connections experiences connected together. So it's just giving me that little warning, that extra reminder of, hey, when I update this, it is going to update in SharePoint as well. So I can come through and I could pick one of those. So here, I'm going to use just Script It as a fun little font package to apply so that we can see this apply to Viva Connections. And once I go through and save this and apply it to my Viva Connections site, you'll see how it updates that content in Viva Connections to match. So you can see how it just kind of seamlessly flows across the 2 there. So we have font packages for Viva Connections, font packages for SharePoint. They share the same font packages currently. And if I apply one to my Viva Connections, it'll apply it to the home site associated. If I apply it to the home site associated, it will apply it to the home site, it'll apply it into Viva Connections. So fantastic, right? Fonts, looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, question over here. The question was, we have to update them from the Microsoft out-of-the-box web parts. Does that mean for SharePoint framework customizations as well, they will need to be updated to use the custom fonts? Yes. Adaptive cards automatically do it because they're pulling in from Viva Connections, but the SharePoint framework solutions, web parts, things that you've put into SharePoint do need that. And the great news is that that is supported from day 1. You can do that today. Vesa Juven have put out a great video showing how you can do that, and we'll be following up with a documentation article very soon, hopefully next week. But we have a video out showing how you can do that today. But custom fonts with your SharePoint framework solutions updating them to use custom fonts is supported from right now. Yes?
That only certain, you're going to be rolling out custom fonts for the websites. What's there now?
So it's actually in our documentation. It's quite a list, so I'm not going to go through all of it right now, but in our documentation for the Brand Center, we do list out for both Viva Connections and SharePoint what is currently supported and which web parts are there today. We tried to hit the major ones that the majority of people use in every site, but the list is available in our documentation for the Brand Center. So if you go search SharePoint Brand Center and get to that set of documentation, you'll find that list of what is currently supported today across both Viva and SharePoint. And like I said, we will keep that updated. There will be message center posts and such before we add new ones so that people know what's coming. Yes, back here I see another question. Yes. It removes it from being able to be like the font packages, new font packages to create using it. If you had created a font package in the past that used oregano, that font package, if you don't mark it as not visible, will still be visible and oregano will still be able to be used. So say you'd applied a font package using oregano in the past to a site, that site will continue to work as desired until you remove the font packages and they update the site. So it just makes it not available in the picker experiences. Okay, so with that, went through some of the Brand Center. We're going to jump back over into our presentation. So, themes. How many of you use themes today? Have you created custom themes for your organization? Are any of you frustrated with those themes? Yeah? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's coming. Do any of you hate having to write it in like code and install it via PowerShell? Oh, gosh. I was actually teaching someone how to do that last week, and they were like, why do I have to do this? And I said, just wait. So when I told you that the Brand Center will continue to evolve, you will actually see this out on our public roadmap today. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of what is going to be coming later this year. So when I come through today, I have the Brand Center, but I want to be able to manage those colors and make my themes. So just like with fonts, I'll be able to create a list of my brand colors and make them available for reuse so that I can easily go through. I don't want to type that hex value every time. I want to do it once and then reuse it multiple times. So I can go through and set up that brand color library with those. And then when I go into SharePoint, I want to create a theme. Don't make me write code. Just let me create it with a UX. So what you'll see is you will no longer have to write code. You will be able to create those SharePoint themes as you know them today, right here in the Brand Center by going through and creating those. So the one addition, we've added accent color as well. That is used in very small places. I go through just like the font package, create it, map it, save it, and then it'll be available for me to use. And I can create more than one and have my whole value of all of my, from my organization, themes available right there in the Brand Center. Exciting, right? We're really looking forward to this. We think it's going to make it easier for people to create themes. But we're not done there. So we know that it's really important for organizations to create and manage their own brands, to create those assets that they want everyone to have. But how many of you have site owners, department owners that want to create just something for their site? They don't want it for the whole, they want to have something for their site. We're going to be expanding to where site owners will be able to create their own site branding, font packages and themes for just their site. So you can see an example of this. It's really early. I don't have full designs for this one yet, but we are working on this, and it is out on our roadmap. But you can see here how that might look for font packages. So you'll see that from my site. So those are the ones that I've created just for my site that the site owners created there. And then the from my organization, and then from Microsoft. So you get that additional location of I've created it just for mine. I want to apply it here, and they will be able to do that. A few caveats here for fonts. They will only be able to utilize either the from Microsoft fonts or any organization fonts that you have made available. They will not be able to upload their own font. So We did put a few guardrails for fonts in particular. Colors, they will be able to create with their own colors there and create their own themes. So it's going to expand that customization option to where I can say, here's the brands, but if you want to go create it for your site because you have that, it's not part of that portal top level where the brand is really tightly controlled. Site owner education here is going to be important about who should do what where. Right? Because if I'm in that top level intranet portal that's highly managed, that we want really to truly be that representation of the brand, we probably don't want them to create something local for that site, but we want them to use the From My Organization branding there. But they have the option for, say, those team sites that they create, for their working projects, for their teams, to make it feel a little bit more like them. Right? So it's really exciting. We're looking forward to all of these great things that are coming for branding. Now, we want to encourage you to try out the new SharePoint Brand Center for custom fonts today. I am happy to say that this is shipped to all of targeted release, and it's going to be coming very soon to everyone else. So be on the lookout for it. If you're excited to use it, if you're the global admin, you'll see it in the admin center first. If you're not the global admin, tell your admin, hey, watch for this setting. You've got that message center post. I want that. Set it up for me. So we're excited to have that come out. Now, I want to talk about how that works beyond the creation of items in the Brand Center. I've created my themes, I've created my font packages. What does that look like, and how do you continue to customize? So moving into that site owner, content author, and creator space. So with that, you can use your themes and colors and images in your section backgrounds. You can use templates to get started quickly or get inspired for inspiration, whether that is a site, a page, or a section. And then if you're creating content, we have great new page authoring capabilities. Hopefully you attended Denise and Dave's session yesterday to see more of what's there and what's coming. But you can have updates to web parts. We're adding in new web parts. You can use images and other web parts to break up those long blocks of content. Do any of you have some of those sites that are just like scroll, just huge blocks of content? You should use images and color and things to break that up, split it into different sections, different columns, make it a little bit easier. And then in the future, we're going to even have tools to help you author and create content. This is going to use Copilot in many cases, or you can use what's available today and say Copilot for Word and some of those. But let's take a look at that section background that I was talking about. So you can go through and you can pick from some of these color schemes that are there. And you can imagine how with themes and evolving through the Brand Center, you'll see potentially your brand colors start to show up here. But you can put images there as well. You can select those from the site, upload them, or use your organization assets. And you can go through and customize that, be able to edit what the gradient looks like, how much the overlay covers, things like this, and really kind of customize this and make your content come to life with your theme and your images. So you can really customize this by cropping, by shaping, by customizing that section and what you're available to do. Section backgrounds are a great way to do this, and we're really excited to have these new images and the color capabilities coming into section backgrounds. Let's talk about images, because this is one of the big ones that can really impact your content. So we provide for you two availabilities. You can upload always, right? You can then also use stock images. So we have a whole set of stock images that are available, and you can go through and pick from those, or you can use your organization asset library. So if you've uploaded those into that Brand Center site, managing them through that document library, they will show up in your organization and your file picker experiences so that you can utilize those. So let's talk about teams. So when I customize teams to make this feel more like my organization, it is focused on Teams meetings right now. So when I come in here, I can use customized templates to include preferred settings for company best practices. But how do I customize that look and feel? So you can actually create a theme in Teams meetings with Teams Premium to go through and customize colors and logos. And you can use images for the background and really go between dark and light mode as well, so that you can customize that experience no matter what the user is coming into it with. And not only that, you can customize as part of this to configure custom backgrounds for those, when people want to hide the blur and use a background, you can add organization backgrounds there, or you can even customize the together mode to create custom organization Teams together mode scenes with the Teams developer account and Teams developer portal to create a custom together mode screen. So it's really fun. You can get together and customize what you want and really showcase your brand right there in Teams. Now, when it comes to video content, we have two great platforms to do this with. We have both Clipchamp and we have Stream. I'll go through a little bit of what the difference is in these, but I'm going to first show you a little bit about customizing videos with Clipchamp. So Clipchamp is our kind of video editing service. And one of the great things in Clipchamp is they have something called the brand kit. So you'll notice I'm using the Windows app for Clipchamp right now. It's also in the browser, so you can use either experience. But I can go through and create a custom brand kit. Now, what does a brand kit for Clipchamp involve? It brings all of those different assets together. So here you can see I've added my logos, I've set up different color palettes, I've added my fonts, I've even added graphics. So how do I use this? So I've got this video right here, and I want to make sure that it's branded for the company, so I can just drag and drop those assets right out of the brand kit into this experience to customize my video. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to add some text here. So we're going to drop one of these subheadings on the screen. And then I'm going to customize that text. Right? Because we want to give them some brand guidance. And then as I come in and I want to really customize this, I want it to be my brand font. So here are my brand fonts that I put in as part of that brand kit. And you can see I've categorized them. So I want to make this Arial bold. Oh, I got to highlight it first. Make this Arial bold. And then say I want to pick a different color. I can come through and you can see those brand kit colors right there to where I can go through and pick one of those colors and apply it through and make that customized as well, right? So I have all of those assets just easily available to me, all part of that brand kit. So today you can create a brand kit and you can share brand kit links across, but you could imagine, can't announce anything, but you could imagine how some of this might start coming together in the future. Okay? So with that, let's jump back over. Now, let's talk about Stream. Stream is a great way to record and share out videos, but did you know that you can customize those screen recordings that you take in Stream while you're using Stream? You don't always have to go to Clipchamp to do that more advanced video editing. You can do it right from within Stream. So you can add yourself to videos, you can capture both a screen and the camera, you can share and promote via email, news posts, more. You can showcase these in video pages and sites and SharePoint. You can even add a tab in Teams that will showcase your videos, so you get some of that more traditional, old classic Stream video channel kind of experiences. So let's look at some of that updated experience for how you can customize these. So I have this great background and I'm recording my camera and I can actually move myself around depending on where my content might be, what I need people to pay attention to so that you can see both me and the content. So here I've played around with that. I can add text to it and I can customize that text so that it has different features and things with it. So I can change the size, I can change the font. Now, when I do this, they are limited currently to a few kind of font stylings, which you'll see some of those similar font stylings in Clipchamp. It's not pulling over the brand kit yet, but you can imagine that that will come. But you can see those different customizations here. So I can say I want that, and then I want to kind of play with this. I want to change the color. So I can go through and I can use a color picker to put in my brand color to get to where I want that color show up. And I can pick that and I can customize it, be like, oh, yep, that's what I want. Nope, not quite. Let me update that. But you can see as I put that on there, you can't really read the text because it's over that image. So I need to customize that as well. So I can come through and move it all around, size it. Maybe I want it up here at the top. I don't really love that. So let's move it back. Wasn't my favorite. I really like it right there in the middle, really give it prominence, but it's going over that microphone. It's really hard to read. So I'm going to update the background. Maybe I want it to be white. Oh no, black looks great, right? It just kind of seamlessly blends in. So we can go through and customize that, and that's what we want. So we've decided on how we want to customize that, but maybe I'm not big enough. I want you to see more of me. So I'm going to make myself bigger, right? But then I want to, maybe I don't want to be here. No, let's go back. Let's go bigger again. You know, you can really customize these a little bit to add this in. There's more that you can do here. You can add stickers. You can draw on it. So you could come in and pick one of these like Teams emoji style stickers and add that to it. You know, figure out what you want. It's that full kind of emoji. You know, maybe we want to put a sneaker there, maybe a peace sign. I don't know. Do we want to add anything here? Got to explore what our sticker options are, but no, don't really want to do that. Maybe, gosh, how we want to edit this? Oh, I know, let's draw on it. Let's customize what color we want our drawing to be or how thick we want that line to be. And then let's really highlight this kind of speaker, this microphone here, and give it a little bit of customization and, you know, make it a little bit fancier. So we can customize our stream videos by kind of going through and doing all of this. And whether we like it or we don't, we could remove it. But you know, we could add a photo too, like maybe we want to add an additional image. So we can go through and upload that photo, drag and drop, add different things. So we can really kind of go through and customize these streams just right from within the Stream web app to capture this. This is all happening in my browser, just in Stream. And so I'm able to play around with adding in these different images, putting different things there, and customizing how I want Stream to be. Had to download it from OneDrive first. And then it'll add that here, right? So I could see, I want that. Oh, now it's really getting busy, you know. I just don't think we want to do that. But I can move it all around, manipulate that image however I want. So I could flip it around, duplicate it, but move it backwards so it's behind the drawing and my text. Play around with it, right? So you can really customize a lot with Stream. So I've shown you a little bit of how that works, but I want to talk a little bit about how you share these videos and how you make them available. So let's jump back over here and let's take a look at that. So if I'm in Stream today, you can see that video, that Relic Cloud brand guidance video that I created here. And maybe I want to edit this and I want to make it available. So I can simply come in here and I can add it to my calendar, a to-do. I can share it just like normal. Or I can go into the video itself. And once I'm in the video itself, I can do more. So I could favorite it. I can record another one. I can add it to a playlist. I can move it. I could use Clipchamp to go even more fine-tune with the editing of this video. I have all of my transcript. I have all of my video settings where I'm able to customize things like the thumbnail. I didn't have that image in that video, but I did customize the thumbnail by uploading my own unique image. So here, I'm going to go ahead and add it to a playlist. I've actually already done this, so I'm just going to jump over. And so what you'll see here is I've added it to a playlist on my site, and then I've added that Stream web part onto this page. So now I have that along with all of the other videos that I've created here in my site. Just make it really easy to do. But I can take it a step further. I could actually create a new news post. And we're introducing soon new video messages, and so video templates. So I'm going to come through and pick one of these and maybe grab the recap, and I'm going to go ahead and create that. And when I do, it automatically adds those Stream web parts right into it, and then you can see in our content pane, there's that video that I had, and I can drag and drop that over here, and I can pick that from my site. And so I can see that video playlist, and I can pull in the different videos and add those right into the news post so that I can go ahead and publish this news post out. And I can customize this and share it. And then when I can preview it, and you'll be able to see that video play in line when you're in Outlook in Exchange Online. You could be able to see that. So there's lots of different ways to kind of showcase video as a part of this and to customize your videos. So a lot of great content there. So I'm going to jump back over. How do we bring our brand to Microsoft 365 and more? So I'm going to focus here, the and more, on PowerPoint, and I'm going to show you a few innovations that PowerPoint has been working on when it comes to your organization branding. So the first of these is available today, and you can actually go out and do this today with Copilot and your organization asset template libraries. So you can actually have your organization branded templates in those template libraries that you've been able to create. And then when you go into Copilot, you can actually ask it to create a PowerPoint presentation using that template, and it's going to build out a template for that. So what does that actually look like? Well, I can actually show you how it works. So I've come in and I've picked this template, my corporate template for Northwind Traders, and I come in and I say, I want you to create a presentation, and I'm going to pick a file for you to create it from, because I already wrote it in Word. I just want now a PowerPoint to make it easier for people to consume it. And so I'm going to tell them to create that. And I've pulled my corporate template up already. So it's going to go through, and it's telling me what it's building out. Here's the outline for what it's generating. And then it's gone through and it's created, using that organization template, a full PowerPoint presentation with the contents from that Word document using my organization template, and Designer is integrated to it as well, so that great design ideas in PowerPoint can also suggest ways to maybe improve my template or to have different layouts of my template applied. So as I'm playing through that Designer flow, you'll notice it's still got my organization branding in it. It's still got Northwind as part of it, and I'm able to go through and use that. This particular feature is available today. So, organization images. Now, wouldn't it be great if it also used my organization image assets to do that same thing? Well, the PowerPoint team with Copilot are working on that today. So today you have that, and you can go into that same image picker and pick from your organization and have access to those organization assets. But what if I could ask PowerPoint to do it and Copilot? So I come in and I say, can you please add an enterprise image of a warehouse? And it's going to go through and it's going to look at my organization asset image libraries, and it's going to come back with a few suggestions of images from my organization image libraries, and then I can pick which ones I want and then add it right into my PowerPoint. So now it's not only able to generate great presentations for me from other content, create from scratch with my organization templates, but I'm also able to integrate my organization images as well. So this is something that they're still working on. It's in a white glove preview right now, but this will be coming soon into the Copilot space. Is anybody tired? There's a lot of products and a lot of branding. So what are the resources that you can use to learn more? So a few months ago, we released a new SharePoint web UI kit on the Figma community, which will allow you to quickly and easily envision what your organization's sites and intranet portals might look like. So you can use this web UI kit in Figma to go through and customize, update it to have your brand, colors, themes, images, and give people that real visual of what it might look like before you ever get started building it. So it's a great resource. You can go out and download and use that today. Let's recenter ourselves back to the brand center and talk a little bit about that organization branding and what's coming. So today, you can manage your images and templates with organization asset libraries. That's been available for a while. Soon, as in you have it in targeted release, you'll have that new Brand Center app and custom fonts for Viva Connections and SharePoint. And then in the future, you have that experience that I kind of previewed today with colors and themes, and being able to create that for your site as a site owner. So a little bit looking forward. Can't give you everything away, but a lot of this might spark some imagination of where Brand Center might go and how it might integrate with some other products. And then I want to make sure that you're also aware of the Microsoft community. We are a part of the greatest community in tech. We truly believe that. I believe that. That is where I got started. I actually was a part of the community for 13 years before I ever joined Microsoft. And so I was an MVP and all of that before. So we've got a lot of great activities here. And in fact, myself and my design lead, Jason, who's been working very hard on the Brand Center, will be leaving after this to head and work at the community booth in the community lounge for the next couple of hours. So we're going to do that, Power Platform Conference, all the normals. And now we're going to finish up with a little bit of Q&A, and I'm going to have Jason come up and join me to help answer more questions. Jason, you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jason Blackheart. I lead the design systems and brand and theming work on the design side for SharePoint.
Yeah, question. Timeline for themes. Well, it is out on our public roadmap for, I believe, September.
How soon for the Brand Center to become live?
So Brand Center today, the app for custom fonts, the question how soon for it to become live, is available in targeted release today for every targeted release customer. And then beyond that, I believe it starts in a few more weeks, but by the end of June is the goal to have it available for everyone by the end of June. So it'll be coming very soon for you. So the question was, what if a site is a part of a hub? Is it still locked down as far as being able to change the look? So we have not changed the behavior for themes today for sites that are connected, associated to a hub. Now you'll notice I was very specific there when I said themes. We realize that a font can significantly impact someone's content. So today we are not pushing themes or font packages down like we are themes to all the sites in a hub. You will need to go to each of those sites and apply the font package, but we do understand that that is painful, and we've heard feedback on this. We definitely hear it. So we do believe there will be updates for that in the future, but right now that is how we're doing it with custom fonts. So themes, still pushing down. Fonts, you will need to apply that. That way you can make sure it doesn't impact your content in any negative ways. There was another question up here.
In the demo, PowerPoint, where you put in the image with the warehouse, with Copilot,
Yes.
Copilot find those images by metadata, or does it recognize the image as a warehouse?
So the question was in the demo that I showed of PowerPoint with the organization images, how did it know that that was a warehouse? So what they're doing there is when you link that up, so there is configuration, there will be configuration for that to work with your organization image libraries. Copilot then uses that same level of searching to know that that's a warehouse. So it's looking at them and understanding what's a part of that image to be able to do that. So are you asking specifically around themes that I showed? Okay. So themes, once they create them in the Brand Center UX, how will they be available for people to use?
Through the change the look.
So you won't have to do any type of code installation or anything there, just like you saw me create that font package and then it became available and changed the look. The same will work there. For site templates in particular with themes, you'll be able to create them there and then still reference them as using it just like you would in the site template today. The site template creation experience is still code, so you will still need to do that scripting for that to be able to create that template, but you'll be able to create the theme itself and then call that to apply it. And we'll be adding support for templates to apply font packages soon as well. We actually have someone working on that now. Yes?
So let's say the marketing department or branding department doesn't want someone to use the new background that you can put into a page. Is there a way in the admin center to control some of those things to say that certain things that you guys are about to turn on are not allowed?
Not currently, but I believe we've heard that feedback. We are acknowledging that feedback, and that might be something that's considered for the future, but it's great feedback for us to have. Currently, it's available for everyone. We want to make sure people have flexibility, but we are definitely hearing that feedback and acknowledging it. But we don't have anything planned for that yet, but acknowledging that feedback. Okay, thank you so much. I know we have gone a little bit over. So we've got one more question, but again, Jason and I will be up at the community lounge for the next couple of hours. But we definitely thank you for coming. We hope that you go use the Brand Center and custom fonts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the conference.